studio, Western New England's voice for sports. Your host, Marquez Lopez.
Oh, boy. I'm not sure I can get you to understand just how frustrated I am. I am so upset, people. So disappointed in how the U.S. versus Dominican Republic game ended last night. Listen, a game of that magnitude should never, ever end on a blown call, especially at the plate. Don't give me you got to protect the plate. You got to swing if it's close. The Dominican Republic had more than one chance to take the lead or score runs. I don't want to hear any of that. I don't want to hear any of that. All I care about is what happened. And what happened is Corey Blazer blew that call. And he blew the Soto call an inning before that. This wasn't just one moment, folks. He ended the game. It's moments like these that ruin this great game that we all love. This is why ABS is a good thing. This is why it's necessary. Because of incompetent, lights are too big for me, main character energy umpires. Oh, God, I despise them. Because a game like that should never end that way. Guys, there are so many bad umps and so many bad calls every season. Corey Blazer starts it off this year. You got Laz Diaz ringing up a guy on a pitch 7 inches off the plate last season. We've had the Angel Hernandez saga for God knows how long. I mean, you got C.B. Buckner. Jim Joyce? Jim Joyce! Oh, my God. Umpires in moments like these ruin this game, people. ABS isn't a gimmick, folks. It's not a gimmick. ABS isn't the enemy. Okay? It's necessary to the integrity of this game. Necessary to the integrity of baseball. Umpires disgust me. They have a job. Show up and call a fair and accurate game. And when they don't, they have zero accountability. Umpires don't have to answer for anything. The players do. Every time. Whether after a good game or the worst moment of their lives, they have to. Umps don't. Officials don't. They never do. They can make or break the moments that athletes have worked their whole lives for. I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of it. Where's the accountability? When will that ever exist? You know, across all sports, we should have a ranking system for officials. Truthfully, a ranking system where the bottom percentage of officials across leagues throughout the year get demoted. Demoted to the minors of their league, whether it's minor league baseball, the G League in the NBA, football, send them down to, the UFL, college football. The bottom percentage should get demoted. And conversely, the top minor league officials should get promoted. And you know, this ranking system should be public. It should be open to the public. Give us the data. Inform us. We should know. We should know which officials suck. And not only should we know, our voice should be heard in getting these officials out of big games. Maybe fans should vote on who gets to officiate big games. I don't know. I don't know the solution, but something needs to be done. These umpires need to be held accountable for the first time. For the first time in their lives, these umpires need to be held accountable. Oh, man. Okay, and listen, my fellow Americans, I say this message to you. Okay? This message is for you. Win gracefully. Let me say it again. Win gracefully. Today, there are 3 types of Americans, right? Those who will never say that Donald Trump is wrong. Second, those who will never say Donald Trump is right. And then third, those who just call it as they see it. Be the third type today, America. Take the win. You earned it. We earned it. But you have to admit it was a terrible call. You have to. And you have to agree it has no place in baseball. because it could have very easily been against you. Despite that mess, Red Sox fans, we should be really excited right now. All right. The Red Sox started the World Baseball Classic with 15 players participating. Still, into the semifinals, we had 8 players participating. And they're not just participating, so maybe that's the wrong word. They're dominating. Roman Anthony for the U.S., maybe you saw his home run last night if you watched the game. He's 22 years old. He leads the USA with 7 RBIs. He has 2 home runs at 2 of the most crucial moments for the American team. He is exactly who we all expected and hoped for him to be, a superstar. An absolute superstar under a very good contract, may I add. You got Warrior Abreu for Venezuela. He's got 6 RBIs in the Classic. And, not to mention, delivered one of, if not the greatest moment in World Baseball Classic history with that 3-run home run to beat Japan, to beat the defending champs, to take down the juggernaut. What? In Japan, you got Masataka Yoshida. He had 375 over the Classic with 2 home runs. Jarren Duran in Mexico has 3 home runs, and that's tied for the tournament lead. Not to mention pitching, Brian Bayo, 5 innings for the Dominican Republic, 1 run, 7 strikeouts. Garrett Whitlock's dominating out of the pen for the U.S. Dominating. 3 innings, a hit, and 5 Ks. Greg Weiser in Italy, 3 1/3, 5 Ks. No runs. And a huge strikeout against Aaron Judge. I mean, the boys are playing great. The boys are playing great. We have so much to be excited for as Red Sox fans. And I hope that if you're watching the Classic, you're just as excited as I am. Okay? And listen, with that, the World Baseball Classic has shown me something. You may not agree. Quite frankly, I don't care. Because I was like you if you don't agree. We may be underestimating the power that is on this 2026 Red Sox roster. Duran may have 25-plus home run potential, especially batting out of that 3 spot that it looks like he's going to be. Abreu's got 25 home run potential. People in the organization think this is going to be a superstar. Roman Anthony could crack 30 out of the leadoff spot. You got Contreras. You got Story. I mean, come on. Listen, I was one of them. But we may be underestimating the amount of power that this Red Sox offense is going to have. And as for the rotation, the Red Sox have a good problem on their hands. They have too much starting pitching. Now, I know that's maybe not a true statement because you can never have too much starting pitching. But the Sox do have an embarrassment of riches in a rotation right now. Therefore, they're going to have to send down or part ways with some guys who should be able to give quality innings and pitch well for this team. You know, some decisions they have to make involving Peyton Tolley, who I project out of the pen early on. He just has this bullpen vibe to him. But, you know, you got Connolly Early, who's been lights out in spring. And Connolly Early's a guy who has top of the rotation potential, truthfully. You got Cutter Crawford, who missed all of last year, throwing live BPs now. Patrick Sandoval making his way back. I mean, 3, if not all 4 of these guys may be left off of the opening day roster. That's how deep the rotation is, okay? Now, one prediction I have is that Sandoval does get traded. There are teams out there looking for a bottom of the rotation arm. Now, he didn't miss a year with injury, but that was always the understanding when he was signed last year. It was one of those one-and-one deals like the Red Sox did for Lucas Giolito. But the Sox owe him $18 million for this year to maybe pitch out of that 5 spot. So I'm sure the Red Sox are looking for ways to offload that contract. Still a good pitcher. All right, still can do some things at the bottom of a rotation. But I think that's the easiest decision, for the Red Sox to make is to move on from Sandoval. Now, another good problem and looming decision, truthfully, that the Red Sox have to make is with Marcelo Meyer in second base. What do you do there? It looked like maybe I was wrong. You know, I had a take last week that Marcelo should be in AAA. He should not make the opening day roster, not because of lack of talent, Not because he isn't the best option at second base. But in March, April, I think he needs reps at the minors to build confidence, to get that bat going before he is a steady contributor up in the bigs. But it looked good for him. He got up to 275, his average. He's hitting the ball a little bit better. You know the defense is there. But to no one's surprise, maybe to some surprise, Marcelo was scratched from the lineup yesterday. Alex Cora called it left knee soreness. That doesn't sound good. Now, Cora did address the media shortly after and said that Marcelo was going to return Tuesday and be in the starting lineup. Cool, that's good. But this careful approach doesn't scream opening day readiness to me, especially for a guy who has this injury history. This isn't something to take lightly. Left knee soreness? This isn't something to take lightly in March. Not at all. This doesn't feel like opening day ready to me. It's a good problem to have because we have guys who can do the job. But I wonder how Marcelo's going to take that. Listen, my prediction stays true. Marcelo gets sent down to AAA. Okay. The Red Sox benefit because of the service time advantage. Okay. He's going to get meaningful reps. He's not going to sit. He's going to start. He's going to see easier pitching. He's going to be able to get into that flow offensively, which is what we need him to do. And I think he'll be called up by May. This isn't a matter of sending him down for the season. This isn't saying Marcelo's far away from ready. Okay, in fact, skill-wise, he's ready. He could play second base. He could play second base for all 30 teams in Major League Baseball right now. But the injury history, the consistency, how important regular reps are, he needs that now. And this is why he's going to start in AAA. Okay? That injury talk is concerning. And until that's not there, I don't feel good about him on the opening day roster. Now, all this talk brings us to the big question. The big picture question, I should say, is who actually makes the opening day roster for the Red Sox? Here's how I see it. Position by position. We'll start at catcher. All right, Carlos Narvaez is obviously the starting catcher for the Boston Red Sox. This is a guy who we're going to rely on to play 120 games. And he's solid for it. Behind him will be Connor Wong. I don't really feel good about it, but there's not many options behind him. I know they got Thias, Jason DeLay. I just saw, I think he hit a home run the other day. We have some guys behind him, but, not any better than Connor Wong. Connor Wong was hurt, so maybe a whole offseason and time gets him right, gets that timing down. He is versatile, could play other positions. He's got some speed. But overall, I just don't feel very, very confident in Connor Wong. But we shouldn't have to feel confident so long as we have Carlos Narvaez. Next position, first base, Contreras. All right, our newest addition there from the Cardinals. It's going to bring some power to the middle of the lineup. He's the only true first baseman I have making a roster. Now, second base. Here's the first roster surprise. I have Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, IKF, and Andrew Monasterio making the roster. Both are having great springs. IKF is hitting .414 so far. It's not bad. If he could carry that over until Romy's back, I feel pretty good. And Andrew Monasterio is another guy we got as part of that Pittsburgh deal. This is a Major League ready second baseman, and he's showing it. And there's no injury concern there. I don't know if he stays on the roster through September, but in terms of having the baseline capabilities of playing second base, maybe has a little pop. Who knows? We'll see. This isn't a bad choice for them. Let Meyer get some time down in AAA. IKF and Andrew Monasterio will do just fine in his place. Not to mention Romy Gonzalez is going to come back at some point. I think we're good there. Next position, third base, Caleb Durbin. All right, what did he finish? Third in Rookie of the Year voting. This is a solid guy, but I don't know if you've seen him. He's got this short stockiness to him. I'm trying to pinpoint who he reminds me of, but he is, who was that football player they called the muscle hamster? Doug Martin, maybe, is literally who Caleb Durbin reminds me of. But if you look at his stature, you got to think he's got some pop in that swing. I mean, I've seen some of his swings in spring training. I don't see a lot of pop, but he hits the ball hard. Hopefully that turns around. But anyways, that's a real solid option at third base. That's our starting third baseman. And at short, Trevor Story. We're hoping for another healthy year. Now in the outfield is where we are fantastic. Making the roster, I have Roman Anthony, Cedar Rafaela, Wilyer Abreu, Jarren Duran. We got Masataka Yoshida. I'm sure if they could deal him before, they will. And for my final bat, I got Nate Eaton. I like Nate Eaton. He got some reps for Great Britain in the World Baseball Classic. He's played some third base, and he's been serviceable. He's a true outfielder. And the organization has already talked about their comfort level in Nate Eaton being that kind of guy to replace Rob Refsnyder's production. That righty who produces off lefties. So Nate Eaton is a solid choice for me here as that final bat. Now we're going to move on to our pitching staff. Talked a little bit about it at first. But our rotation shapes out as follows. Garrett Crochet at the 1. Sonny Gray was just announced by Cora to be the number 2 pitcher for the Red Sox. Number 3, Ranger Suarez. Number 4, Brian Bayo. This is a great spot for him to be in. I mean, he had a sort of career year last season. And in the World Baseball Classic, already looks like midseason form. In a 4 spot, he's going to get some run support, and he's going to stack up some wins. Now in the 5 spot, Johan Oviedo. This was the centerpiece of that deal with the Pirates in which we sent the password over for. Reportedly, the Red Sox are dazzled by this guy. He's a massive human, throws the ball hard as hell. Out of that 5 spot, man. Listen, this rotation is going to be nasty. Now, 6th. Yes, 6th. I have Tolley making the roster. Tolley can fill in on some of those long weeks. Be that 6th man out the rotation. Be a long reliever. Come in, get an inning. Ultimately, I think he gets sent back down to AAA at some point. Maybe to make room for Connolly early. Maybe to make room for Sandoval or for Cutter. But I think Tolley's the right guy for this job right now. Out the bullpen, of course, Aroldis Chapman. We got Garrett Whitlock, who's been on fire in the WBC. Justin Slayton. We got Greg Weissert. The Red Sox just added Danny Colombe, finally getting the left-hander they needed after trading Brendan Bernardino. They got Zach Kelly making the roster. And now this is for that last spot here, which gets interesting. I don't know how much spring training you've watched, but Tayron Guerrero has been pretty good. He has been pretty good. And he's a leading candidate right now for that 13th spot on the pitching side of things for the Red Sox roster. But competing with him is Ryan Watson. This is a Rule 5 guy. So Ryan Watson must stay on the 26-man roster or he is to be returned to his previous team. So Watson could very well be the person there. But I think Tayron Guerrero is a better pitcher. But we'll see how much they value that Rule 5 pick. Listen, overall, I think this is a World Series contending team. The World Baseball Classic performances have made me believe that. They've shown me as much. This lineup is going to have more power than people expect. This rotation is exactly what it looks like. They're deep, both on the Major League roster and in the minors. And come July, they're in a strong position to make a move at the deadline for anything they need. Now, I know they never seem to do it, but this is the year. This is the year. Listen, this Red Sox team can win it all. Make the bet now. Thank me later for it. Now, as we close on the Red Sox, I want to take a minute to move into some TD Garden news. The Celtics tip off tonight against the Suns in the second game of a 7-game stretch that features 6 at home. Tatum had an encouraging performance Saturday against the Wizards. He played a season-high 32 minutes, scored 20 points with 14 rebounds and 7 assists. He did still struggle from behind the arc, I believe 2 of 9. And still, with Jaylen Brown having a bad game, Tatum was able to set the pace versus, albeit, an awful Wizards team. You know, the Wizards are the Wizards. But if this is going to be the dynamic going forward, which I've said all along, Tatum being the Robin and taking charge when he needs to, when the team needs it, then the Celtics can be considered a finals favorite. I mean, they're definitely the favorite out of the East. They're the favorite out of the East with Tatum at 75%. Against the Wizards, he looked better than 75%. Anything better than that, without a doubt, this is the team coming out of the East. As for the Bruins go for back-to-back wins for the first time in nearly 2 months tonight when they take on the Devils at 7 p.m. This will be the second of their 3-game road trip, and currently the Bees are tied for the first wild card spot in the Eastern Conference. Now, for some of the bigger news going on in the world of sports, we had Selection Sunday yesterday, so we'll close this show on college basketball. Let's tip off with UMass. What a letdown. I was riding the wave. I was drinking the juice. I was eating the cookies. But boy, did UMass let us down in the semifinals over this weekend. It was too good to be true. But it was fun while it lasted. I enjoyed it. It was nice to be able to root for a winning UMass program. It was nice. It's been a while, especially for basketball. Now on to the men's bracket. Only one New England team is represented. That is the number 2 UConn Huskies. Overall, they have the 5th best odds of winning the national tournament. And a win this year would be their 3rd in 4 years. That screams dynasty. Personally, I really like this team. And it's also really easy to root for Alex Karabin, who has the most starts in program history and could win his 3rd national championship with the same team as a starter. That almost never happens. That's unicorn stuff. I'm really rooting for it. Really rooting for it, to be honest. The Huskies open Friday, 10 p.m. versus Furman on TBS. Now on to the women's bracket. In ladies college basketball, New England is well represented. They got 6 teams in the tournament, starting with 1-seeded UConn, 9-seeded Princeton, 11-seeded Fairfield, 11-seeded Rhode Island, 14-seeded Vermont, and 15-seeded Holy Cross. On Friday, things tip off for Holy Cross versus Michigan at 5:30 on ESPN2. And then on Saturday, the rest of our teams play. At noon, we have Vermont versus Louisville on ESPN. At 2, we have Fairfield versus Notre Dame on ESPN. At 2:30, we have Rhode Island versus Alabama. At 3, we have the undefeated Lady UConn Huskies versus UTSA, looking to continue that undefeated season. And at 7:30, we got Princeton versus Oklahoma on ESPN2. Enjoy the opening round of the NCAA tournament to come. And please don't miss the World Baseball Classic semifinals tonight and the final tomorrow. And that'll do it for today's Monday Express. Thank you for tuning in to the 91 Sports Network show. 91 out. Peace.